Maybe check that. Right down. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
So I'm Charles Bote-Bogeri, your host tonight, and I'm so blessed to host these great men of God and the women of God. Let me hear from her. Just tell us who you are.
God is good
all the time.
all the time.
God is good, and that's His nature. Wow.
Amen. We bless the Lord for this day. I'm Grace Auma Okelo. I work with Rights North Lango. I got a new name just last week. I am called Senior Adolescent Girl. Now in this seniority, I have 5 adolescents in my house. The first one is 23, and the last one is 12. So you can imagine senior adolescent with that crazy team.
Nice seeing you. How are you? Good evening. Praise the Lord. George Yaguza is my name, a man of many kinds and hopes, but standing for the grace of God. Nice seeing you. 12 years ago, we thought about this, and it is now happening.
My name is Dorcas Arao. I work with Rights North Lango as a communications advisor. I'm very happy to be here and meeting you all. You're most welcome to church. I just want to let us know one thing brought me here to church this evening, and that is the power of the mind. Okay? Thank you.
Amen.
I'm called Reverend James Awad. 66 years going to 67 years.
And my teacher in O level.
That's wonderful. When Caleb was talking to Joshua, he told Joshua that, please be reminded that a few years, when it was 40 years, and we were dispatched to look into the conquest of Canaan. I was sent as, yes.
When now you become so dry and like your account is running off.
We were going through a very beautiful song here, where Jesus becomes the center of our lives. There's nothing impossible with Jesus. But the first thing, as she has already mentioned, is to realize that you're a problem. You know, the worst person to deal with is somebody who does not realize he doesn't know, that he or she doesn't have a problem. But once you begin from that note, then you can come out of it slowly, gradually, but surely. You know, the mind, for some of us who have not had foundational heroism or basic, knowledge about God, the society where you grow, the friends that you associate yourself with, can be a power that will determine how you are going to behave. So that is an aspect of intellectual bankruptcy. Think deeply, give time to think and meditate over what you are going to do. But can I tell you that the world is now using that power of the mind, the intellectual aspect, to transform and bring you to your deathbed.
Somebody help us with the children. Where is this ashes? Okay.
Moderator, let me have something to do with it. The mind engineering technology, what we call Illuminati. Some of us might not have had this, accessibility to this type of technology. But it enters you through phones. And then you begin to look at some of these bad films that we are talking about. It's a great pattern science, what we call the secret society, group of powerful individuals who are working towards the creation of a world order or government emphasizing on the world faith, religion, and currency. Great pattern science ability to produce a controlling material signals, mind control technology based on manipulating the sixth sense, what they call electromagnetic brain field. They are capable of reading thoughts through the technology with absolute precision. using predictable neuron firing patterns. So as you read them, you are connecting yourself. You know, the devil is controlling technology. There are two powers that control technology in this world. The divine power, or the power of God, the creator, and the power of the devil. He always produces the counterfeit of reality. And many of us go for these counterfeits. So if these thoughts can be inserted into the weak-minded person, minds of the targeted individuals, the youth, are monitored in order to establish a schedule of attention patterns based on what one often thinks about and forms part of his habits. Are you listening? So once a mental and emotional map of receptive thoughts has been drawn, the initial stage is influence can begin. The electromagnetic field delivery systems interrupts habitual neuron firing patterns with an extremely brief black state. So the thing removes, if there's a Christian way, a Christian music, it removes it completely and leaves a blank space. Then they can now insert what they want.
Yes.
Let me stop there, then we shall go.
Oh.
So you see how really, so that's why, you know, always make sure you associate yourself to the Word of God, to people who will always sing and praise God and allow God to give you the sense of direction.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
All right, but I wanted some free thing about, Jose talked about environment of friends.
Yes.
As one of the ways we can come out of this intellectual bankruptcy. Douglas, I have a special question for Joy, but he can still answer even this one, some feel one or two. So Douglas, anything we can do about the intellectual bankruptcy?
Yeah, sure.
How can we chase away this? Yes.
Yeah, so first of all, first thing first, let's align our mind to the Word of God, okay? That will actually prepare us to do the right thing at all times. We have the Word of God with us at all times. How often do you read it? How often is the Word speaking to your life? Even before your mind gets, disempowered, I could call it.
Yes.
Sometimes our minds are disempowered. Reverend just said the wrong environment is one of them, and it's something that leads us to do something that is not in line with the Word of God. Another thing also could be, when you have a disempowered mind, even you don't believe in certain things. For example, you have a lot of doubt. You read the Word and you're like, oh gosh, will it work for me? Will I even get this thing that I prayed for? So a doubtful mind.
Pessimism, yes.
Yes. So that kind of thing, so gets us to where we should not be as Christians. But as long as we align our mind with the Word of God at all times, believe me, we will do the right thing.
Joy, what about beliefs? Belief is there's a power in belief.
Yeah.
And it really reduces people to the ground.
Right. I may not labor to define what I believe is.
Yeah, of course.
But I want to talk about what we call the altered one, the altered belief. And allow me to take you a little higher. A bit of a study was done somewhere about the altered belief. 53 individuals were subjected to a study. And they wanted to understand, the impact of the altered beliefs in determining behavior, determining characteristics, determining the way we respond to situations. So these were the results. 27 people out of the 53 had a similar-like situation, but the rest had what we call, NDE. They were near to death. Near to death. They were subjected at a given point in life to a circumstance that could almost kill them. NDE. Then the rest were like, minor incident, accident here and there. So these were the results. The people who really, for sure, engage into NDE, near to death, they almost died. You know, these were the results. One, when they survived, they now became people who are more trustworthy.
Yes.
They became more dependent. They started seeing how they could support one another. They started working for the future. And above all, beginning to think that there is a possibility even after this world. So that means altered belief has a very great influence into what we move into. And the situations that we find ourselves in determines to a large extent how we get bailed out from, you know, that kind of ditch, that kind of bottom. We get to the middle, we get to the high. Because it will now focus you to realize that there is hope. I want to tell you that when there is a situation coming your way, a young person, look up. We sang it here. Listen up. And when you look up, when you listen up, the Almighty God will come down to your situation. And whether it is addiction, whether it is a problem, definitely it will be resolved.
Oh.
Because there is nothing impossible with God.
Let's put our hands together for George. All right. Mommy, you know, there are people who say, I can't do it. And people don't like consulting a lot. And I want to talk about the alliance of the mind. Do you believe that it can do something? One or two minds. Because I know we've already talked about friends trying to do us, but at this specific, you know, we come for specific issues and we share the confidential issues.
Yes. That is why it's very important to know who you hang up with. The saying that says, show me your friend.
And I'll tell you who you are.
And I show you who?
Who
you are. It's true, you need support. You need a friend, you need to align with someone, you need someone's mind to support you, especially when you're going through some difficult times. Sometimes you may not be able to make it on your own. But that also depends on the person you're aligning with. If you're aligned with your kind who is pulling you down, then you will enjoy the addiction. You'll continue enjoying the addiction, you'll get bad, worse, and before you know, you become suicidal and you're gone. And you fail to make it. But when you align yourself with a light-minded person, a person who has a vision in mind, yes, irrespective of my yesterday, I am going to make it. Remember when I said your mind is the one of the most chaotic thing in the world?
Yes.
It announces to you everything. And sometimes, have you ever done your own funeral, right? Anybody here?
You sit in a quiet corner.
You fell sick, you saw how they brought food, you saw how they came to you, you even died. Then you saw how people were crying. Anybody did their own funeral in their mind? By show of hands. Me, I did it several times. You people, you're not.
Oh, they're lucky.
I want to see those who did their own funeral.
They're lucky.
Then you stop and say, hey, hang on. No, I'm not dead. And I'm not going to die. Or this relationship is also going to break. Then you will refuse me. Then you'll marry someone else.
Wow.
Anybody went through that? And then you hang on. Oh, your child is going to die. Then I said, devil, just don't even try. Do you know that when people die, they don't come? Don't even think about it.
You know, when I don't get married to this guy, I don't think I'll ever get married again.
Then you're partnering with another chaotic person. Doom. So you can align and recover and get better and get a vision and make it in life.
We say Reverend, I'm coming to George, but I'm preparing Reverend because I'm giving him what he could not have prepared for, but that is his fail. We want to understand, you know, the principles and some theories on psychopathy. Can a person be born stupid, foolish, or even wise, or we can make people? I will come back to you. Let me go to church. George, there is, you know, the mind can cut I don't know what happened to my microphone, or the battery just went off, or I'm shouting. But make me feel my mean, okay? I want to be mean. All right, so I think I'm good now. You know, the mind can cut like electricity. And you begin to wonder, is this Bishop of home? Is this my Lord Bishop Silvanus? He's right there, can you wave to us? And you begin, you just don't, you just can't understand what has happened. Now, I want to ask you this question. What are some of these factors that may drive or lead to what I call cognitive the dissonance, the disorderliness of the mind? Oh. When your mind cuts off. And yet we could actually try to find ways of protecting our mind from cutting away. Yes, George, you could help us.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Charles. You know, you're now talking as we were still discussing the positive psychology. We are now going to the negative one. When things have gone wrong, by the way, that is already a disease, a mental disorder. But there are factors that could influence, you know, things to happen that way. One of them could be a genetical problem, you know, following the line of your family. But the good news is how God can break it. The second one is situational, environmental. As we have been talking about, who are you living with? Are you living with somebody who sniffs petrol, alcohol and substance abuse? You know, at the end of the day, we'll try to impair, you know, the functions of the mental, the mental orderliness. Yeah. Then another one could be even the drugs that we use, you know, at a given point in time can dysfunction the way our brain is supposed to work. So there are so many factors, but when it gets there now, two things. We need to get treatment.
We'll come there, but let me interrupt you a little bit.
All right.
There is this common saying, or the saying, perhaps some of you would want to say it like that, that everybody is mad, but the degree of madness varies. Do you agree to that statement? Do you agree to that statement as an expert, a mental health expert?
I don't. Why? Because we were talking about the positive psychology. You know, the mind, Reverend puts it well, the brain. And I go back to my word, it's like a receptacle. You know, it is a blank slate. It is supposed to be empty. It depends on whatever you feed in there. Yeah. So what would make now people say commonly that everybody could be having a mental disorder depends on the degree. Now, it's dependent on what kind of information or material is fed into the mind.
What I wanted to confirm was, is there some element of madness in human mind? Is there some element?
Some element of madness in human mind. By the way, madness is a root term. We say mental disorder.
Mental disorder. Now we get to the point. Mental disorder. Yes.
So, you know, that one comes from what we call the intrinsic behavior. The inbuilt ability, which can be triggered, as Reverend was saying.
The psychic ability.
Fine. So, we're talking about the unconscious mind. Remember, we had all this data, information, captured over a period of time. Others are good, others are bad. We pretend that they are suppressed there. But when we trigger them, when we subject them into a situation, you know, they can easily come out the way he was trying to explain. But that does not mean that there is some degree of madness, you know, as people say.
In other words, human mind also responds to emotions.
Yes.
I think that is what George is trying to tell.
And the feelings.
So when you get yourself behaving in certain ways, don't begin to believe that you're already mad, because you're going to be mad by the way. I mean, disorderly, not mad, disorderly in the mind, okay? Oh, about psychopathy.
Yeah,
people are born innocent.
He is trying to explain what there's a theory of what we call situationism. Situation that. Let me stand up.
Get me that mic well. This is a critical moment.
You know, he has just explained, the situation that one goes through will determine how that person is going to respond to such a situation. If you have been in a war situation, definitely you are going to, respond like somebody who has, gone through war and the rest.
You behave like a soldier.
You have heard music from South Africa. South Africans have gone through a lot of, trial and temptations. The appetite period. Certain streets were meant to be for the white, while certain streets were meant to be for the black. So their behaviors have actually been institutionalized. So even when they are singing, even when they are dancing, they dance with a lot of violence. So now let me get to the issue of psychopathy. A psychopath is somebody who is indifferent of other people's suffering.
Apart you may sit because you might forget you're in the church. Okay, we're in the church anyway. Let's go. You want to understand this psychopathic,
a psychopath is, I've already said, is somebody who is indifferent of other people's suffering. For example, these people who travel on these trucks going to markets, if they splash water on you, they will even laugh. They're about to knock a person, they will say, you killed the dog. Those are psychopathic ways. Now, how do we build? A psychopath is made. For example, if you're trying to give a baby some treatment, possibly pinning during those days, which was a bit bitter, the baby will respond by spitting, by kicking. Even after bathing, he will go down and while in the mud. That is already a beginning. If you don't help that child to learn that is extreme. Such a person is going to be a dictator. So, psychopaths.
Maybe something was wrong with me.
Yes. For example, also, somebody, a boy is just of about 2 years, he goes, begins to, when he's urinating, he points it towards the rest.
And you just see.
And then the mother will say, oh, John, you are really funny. Next time he will be the type of person who will hold pieces in his hand in the bag and will say, how much do you have? Then you say, I don't have anything, please, you smell this. You have trained, you have helped the boy to become a psychopath. So I think psychopathy, basically I'm saying,
can be made by
Now the other case where sometimes there is no issue of inheritance. Although we say, when you have extra chromosomes, you only develop, aggressiveness. We are supposed to have 46. Yes, you scientists, you will help me. So, but if you have the 47th, that 47 usually will lead to aggressiveness. So, possibly that would help. What we call a predisposing factor. And a predisposing factor will really expose you to behaving the way you are doing. I think I can stop.
Thank you, ladies. We have in our midst Deputy Team Leader, Mr. Charles Utunyelo with us here, and Mami Mario. They are all members of this church. We love you so much. Dear University students, UTC, Jerusalem, we love you so much. Hallelujah. Amen. In a short while, we'll be receiving some of your questions because we can't discuss all this without you interrupting with us. Now, I want to ask Douglas, as ushers prepare to bring us.
You can always be all of them, depending on the way you blend it. So these guys with a rigid mind, definitely.
Somebody saying the mind is a marshal.
Yeah.
So the level at which you exercise the mind is what gets to the next level. And so your mind becomes it.
Right.
Finish it and then Jose will say
So I wanted to say that, as Douglas puts it, I was asking also myself, what happens now to the foolies, to the unlearned foolies? How do I put it?
The learned fool.
We were talking about the learned fool. But that one should be me,
an innocent fool.
So, but you know, you can always get out of this by reprogramming your mind.
Reprogramming your
Reprogramming.
mind. Take note.
Repackaging your mind.
Yes.
You know, modeling it and blending it.
Thank you, George. Was there adding some few seconds so we can go for a break?
You know, a fool is one who does not know what is most important in life. I was talking about the mission and the way you're going to achieve that mission. We have the physical, we have the intellect, we have the spiritual, and all this, the social aspect. Now, all this must pay homage to the spiritual, because it goes back to why God has created us. God has created us to serve Him, to love Him, to keep His commands. This person who is called a fool, the Bible defines as somebody who does not accept that God is there. So that's where foolishness begins. Now, once somebody has now said like that, because a foolish person is the person who does not know that he doesn't know. That is the first definition of what foolishness is. Because if you know you don't know, why don't you accept? Why don't you ask people to help you so that you begin to learn? And I don't want us to be mistaken and think it is only when you study, when you learn.
That is what most people think.
After all, the intelligence that we have is natural. Whether you have gone to school or not, you must be able to know that this is wrong and this is right. That's why God originally gives us even conscience, which even before you can learn about Jesus, you already know it is bad to kill. So from that premise, then you can develop. Academic or intellectual will now help you to know, yes, more information about what is death and how should I avoid it. But originally, you are created to know what is right and good. Those that you do not know struggle to know. That's where there is no time when you can say, I'm not going to learn. Every time you must get ready to learn. And when you get ready to learn from people, then you will know better. And you will actually reduce the level of foolishness. And accept when you don't know, say, I don't know. You remember that person, that union, when he was trying to read the Bible and then Philip went to him and said, hey, do you understand what you're saying? What did he say? How can I understand when nobody can explain this to me? So be receptive. Accept to be guided. Accept to be corrected. That is what life is, and that's how you will grow. Me, at my age, I am ready. When I took my paper, you know, I'm now writing chapter 1, the background and the rest, so I took to a professor who looked at it and made very big marks. This is not what you should have done. I said, sir, let me explain. Please, be humble and be ready to learn. That's the only way.
Thank you, Jose. We'll just have one question for Mami, and then we'll go for a 1-minute break. I feel I am aging and growing old, and so pressured to settle down with just any man. Please help me out. My mind is so confused. Do I still have a chance?
Chance of doing what?
She's aging. She's aging, and she doesn't believe whether she'll actually get a man or be married. I've thrown it to Mami. Okay. You will come as a supplement. Let me go to Mami. Yes, Mami.
Thank you. Thank you. Whoever asked this question, I want to start by acknowledging that this is not an easy time. That your fears, your worries are real, and it's not only you going through. Sometimes, because of one reason or the other, and it's said regularly, and the catechists and the pastors here, that sometimes young ladies give their lives to Christ, they're faithful, they serve the Lord, they keep themselves pure, and the brothers do not see them. They just don't see them. Year in, year out, they serve, they take care of everybody's wedding.
Adam is still sleeping. Adam is still sleeping.
Adam, wake up! Adam, is here. Can you wake up? It's truly a difficult situation, but I pray by the grace of God that He who is faithful, who blessed the womb of Sarah at an advanced age, will hear your cry and make the right man come your way.
I think for purposes of proximity, you are going to talk to this girl. Looks like your ailment a little bit, and then we pray. Okay? How have you been able to really get to a point of choosing? I didn't anyway ask you how many you have, but of course, I think you have one. Maybe just give us one or two techniques. How you finally got to choose this man of yours?
Well, how did I finally get to choose my fiancé?
Yes.
It was way back in my O-level. Yes. I was in the church, and for information, I was at Bombo Pentecostal Church. Is there anyone who has heard of that church before? Yes, so I was a minister in the church. I was in the worship team. So my fiancé sees me from there. And so when I joined campus, it's the first time he made a move and proposed. Okay? Yeah, so how did I get to choose the right one? I'm sure it's the right one. So first of all, he was in church. He used to come to the same church with me. It's where he saw me from, so I'm sure the Lord spoke to him. Okay?
The parents know him?
Yes.
The pastors know him?
Yes, the pastors know him. The church administrators know him.
Because I was expecting one or two to I did this all right then. That is also very hard at this point. One word?
Were there more? Were there more than one?
That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing.
Yes, sweetheart. Were there many who made advances? Was it the only one? Because some of us have many people who talk to us. So was it the only one? Or along the way someone else also made advances? And how did you say no to him?
By the way, he was very swift. He made sure he was faster than anyone else. Okay?
That is one of the signs.
Yes, and so
That person has to be fast and very fast.
and straight, by the way, and patient.
He has to be straight.
Patient. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, because he knows it's not something that should be rushed.
Maybe this is what our sister is struggling with. You know, you have a package, you have, not just a package, but you have a bunch of men. And I'm like, what do I do? The worst thing is you always want to trust the one who does not trust you, and he's not fast. He doesn't even have patience. What's it? You want to do something, man? You want
I want to say something. Premise. For those who serve the Lord, everything works for.
That's a short question that already.
So that's the fact that up to now you are still like that.
Bring on the questions that are not
Interpret
answered.
it as God's will. That's one. Secondly, I got married. You know, I lost my wife. Then I got married to a lady who was 48 years, who had waited upon the Lord. I want to tell you that me, I'm a sinner.
48 years, was it?
Yes.
Must be something good.
Let me tantalize by telling you that she was a virgin.
No wonder we say is dear Momo.
You know, Socrates once said that if you get somebody who disbelieves, the person disbelieves because he or she is looking at himself or herself. So those who are laughing are those who are no longer virgins.
Let's have a break. Come on, shoot it up. Let's have a break. Their presentation. Now, this one, how can one train the mind daily to get better. Because according to him, strong minds suffer without complaining, but weak minds complain a lot even when they are not suffering. George, this is about empowering the mind. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Empowering the mind, training your mind into action. First of all, you need to define the benchmark. And you will accuse me when I talk like that. The benchmark is just the beginning point. And it goes back to what the Word of God tells us. So that is our benchmark. So training the mind would be in two fronts. The world view and the biblical view. But we are in this context, in the church, and we are saying that the Word of God works. So training your mind, every parameters are found in the Word of God. So I think you should set out to even read from Genesis to Revelation. Prayerfully, God will definitely train you. Then on the other side of the world view, being proactive, being inquisitive, forming yourself into action, making sure that you're able to discover where are those good portals that you can get information that can really nourish you. And also, by the way, looking at how your colleagues or friends do it. There are certain things that can make you admire the direction of somebody or some group of people, and that will ignite you into training your mind to get there.
Maybe this person is, I don't have a job. How do I get to prosperity? To the road of prosperity. Just struggling.
You don't have a job? Not everybody has a job. Almost more than 50% of people seated in this church do not have a job. But you have something that God has given you. What is it that you have? Do you have 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread? Jesus wants to multiply that. What can you do? What is it that you can do that can earn you money? If you are a boy, if you are a girl, you may have just a small field, a small piece of land.
First of all, as he or she discovered, because the process is discovering fast the potential.
Okay, let me come back to say this. In most cases, we think of white-collar jobs, especially when you've gone to school. And when you graduate, yours is to get the job for which you studied. Unfortunately, it's not possible now in this country. And so sometimes when you do not have a job, it's even worse when you have a paper in your hand. You can go through depression. And that's why we're talking of the power of the mind now. The power of the mind, you do not have a job, but the question is there anything that I can do?
Is there anything that I can do? And that question,
can earn me a living.
Mami Grace, this one was directed also to you, that how can I cope up with countless heartbreaks that I suffer? My last boyfriend dumped me, saying I am not fit, I am not beautiful.
Let me start by saying this. By the way, I also suffered that. A boyfriend dumped me, and my heart broke. I cried tears, and I thought the Lord didn't love me. But that boyfriend regretted when my husband got me. Actually, even saying, "Can we make up?" When he saw my husband coming closer to me, and I told him, "Yes, it's at one time at a go. Yes, it's not for 2 people. Yes, the heart is real. The pain can be so severe." But there's a song that blessed me in those days when someone dumped me. Pick up the broken pieces and take them to the Lord. Pick up, to mend them. Do that. Jesus will mend the broken heart and surely recover. Do not jump to another relationship. The challenge you people have is, you dumped today, the next weekend you're seeing another brother. Than before, and watch the space.
Thank you, Mami. Thank you. Reverend, me and you, we have been accused here as people who stand on pulpit that we are too academic or academical. Now, we want to talk about the aspect of the mind in the Bible, and of course, the Bible says a corrupt mind corrupts the body, and corruption started from from Adam in the Garden of Eden. And so the corruption is still going, and the mind is corrupted like that. You want to help this person a little bit because this person thinks we are not catering for the spiritual aspect.
It's not always good to separate the physical from the spiritual.
I like that.
The only thing is, all that we are discussing is to make you understand the physical so that you can understand the spiritual. How do you understand something which is too abstract, which is the spiritual, and then you don't understand even what is physical that we can see? For example, the issue of marriage, you may look at it as being, physical. And that's how many people are getting to hell, by the way. There are people who think anything to do with the sex, even when you are married officially, people have witnessed, they have come and said, and then the priest has said, beget children as part of the gift. They don't want, they want, first of all, to a married man, a woman married to a man. First of all, light must be blown off before she can release and become naked. You see how far you go. Sometimes even there are people who think you don't have to pray even when you are going for sex. Let me tell you.
Sex is spiritual.
Did God say sex is bad? When he created a man, a woman, and a man, and he saw that they were good, when God created, so everything was good, including sex. So pray and do things fast. Don't keep on postponing. Even when somebody talks to you and expects a feedback, give a feedback. Some of us delay so much in giving feedback. A boy has approached
relationship, especially in the relationship.
Yes, I'm talking in terms of relationship. So you keep the man pending. In fact, you love the man, and the man finally doubts you because it is your mistake.
Right. You should only be contented when you feel you have reached, or when you feel the Lord has sent you that right person you've been waiting for. But otherwise, we need to seek the Lord to send that right person so that we don't overwait. Okay? You need the Lord to send someone right away. I told you mine was swift, such that by the time the rest came, it was through. Okay? And the proposal was already accepted and made known to everyone else.
Doctors, how do you use your money as a young girl? You seem to be having a...
My money fast, I tithe my money, okay? And that is one thing that has kept me going over and over.
Some of them are buying men, so men fear them, that you see this one buys people.
Allow me, moderator, to thank you and the leadership of the church for giving us the opportunity to share today and taking chaotic thoughts to control your mind. Pull every thought and put them under the test and the control of the Lord. Sort out the evil, sort out the good thoughts, and say no to the chaotic one. Refuse to live in fear. Fear of the past, fear of the future. Instead, use faith, which is based in the word of the Lord. For he has not given us the spirit of fear. And then reject guilt and shame.
Yeah.
There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Yes, you committed a sin. Did you confess to the Lord? Did you repent? Do not allow the devil to put you down. And that's what triggers your mind every time and puts you down. Makes you make wrong choices, makes you get into addiction. Give up that what you committed to the Lord and believe that he has cleansed you by the blood of Jesus. And finally, the power of the word. Were you told that you will tantamount to nothing? Were you told that you are useless? Is that what brings in your mind that makes you fail every time? Believe in the word of the Lord and speak positive. The tongue has the ability to give life and death.
Yes.
Has the power. Make a change. Please have a vision for your life. You have been here today and you've had us speak. What do you want to become in future? That's what you should think about. Live in what you want to become. And by the grace of the Lord, may you make it come true.
That is a powerful thing that I leave you with. And I was about to ask Pastor Peter like maybe every Sunday 600 people come here. But in my family we are like 5. And when I subject that to a statistical, simple calculation, I am like 0.0. Sounds like, when you see me dance now, I dance like a winner man. Okay? I am not afraid, because I am no longer a slave to fear, but I am a child of God. Whose report will you believe? I will believe the report of the Lord. His report says, I am healed, I am free, I am victorious. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
God is for you, and you will never go wrong. You will get to the productivity level that you want, that will nurture you at the end of it to prosperity in the confines of God. God bless you.
Thank you, George.
Thank you so much. George and Grace have said so much. I just want to appeal to all of us here, and I want to say that the mind is the most powerful tool that we have. Okay? It is very, very powerful. Like I said in the beginning, it determines who we are right now, and then it will also determine who we will become tomorrow. Okay? I want to request us to desist from a disempowered mind. Okay? It leads us nowhere. I've been to families, I've had friends who come from families that have struggled in life, that have had issues, and at the end of the day they say, look, my parents didn't make it, my grandparents were failures in life, and for us as a family, we can't advance to the next stage. This is where we always reach. Others will tell you we can't even get married in our family. It's like we are cursed, okay? They've just told us here the power of the tongue, how our tongue is very powerful. So please, let's desist from the disempowered mind. Let's be very empowered, because the word of the Lord empowers us every other time. Amen? So, and let's be open to learning. Let's not, get closed up to ourselves. Let's reach out to friends, share what we are struggling with. Problem. The Lord speaks through our friends, and of course all our leaders right here in the church, to provide us guidance as young people, so that we are able to move and become very, productive people. Yeah. So let's control our mind generally, and the Lord will take us to the next level.
Amen. Let's put our hands. Today is summarizing, and shortly I'm asking this media guy, please put for us 2 Corinthians to be able to.
I'll say only 2 things. One, I will start with my number, 0779. Those who are still not sure, Jesus has said, before you are, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word. Keep the little strength. Are you keeping the little strength? Loving Jesus and walking in Jesus, walking in salvation. Then says, and hath kept my word, and has not denied my name. And the rest continues. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet. So those who are laughing at you, you are now getting old, you have not been married. That's why I made that statement. For all of us who serve the Lord, everything that I go through, work for God bless.
Amen. Ladies and guys, have been so wonderful, and I believe someone has itself up against the knowledge of God. And we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And we will be ready to punish every act of disobedience once the obedience is complete. Now, the whole summary of our discussion today is that let Jesus control your mind. Come on, everybody say, let Jesus control your mind. Say it again.
Let Jesus control.
As you